Good morning. It is a warm and foggy day here in North Carolina, and today I'm going to go out and see what images I can take with this fog. So come along and enjoy this adventure. Fog is such a powerful element in your photography. I just love when there's fog in the forest there. It really adds something to the forest here. It does two things. One, it softens the light. So the light is a lot softer in the forest. It's not dark, it's just softer. The other thing that fog does is it adds an element inside your photography. This moisture that's coming through the air here is adding a filter inside of your image so that some of your closer subjects are in focus and well seen, but as you get deeper into the photo, the image becomes just silhouettes of this whiteness coming over it. This can be an extremely bleak image. This is one of those images that you classically see if you were to go into a landscape photography book. I have a trail going through the forest. I have a brook running across this path here. I have these stark trees. You can see behind me these stark trees that are just standing there. And what I'm trying to do is get this image of, as you walk forward, it's almost like the unknown is in front of you or something like that. This is a very classic, intimate forest photography, and this is what I was kind of thinking about once I saw this fog this morning. This is where I wanted to be. So let me talk about this image, my first image of the day. It's a classic forest imagery. Now, forest photography to me is a much more intimate photography. It's not like taking huge vistas or landscapes at the ocean or something like that. With forest photography, you have a very intimate environment that you're in right here. So what I have here is what I would call a classic forest photography. I have a path going through the forest. This path happens to have a stream going across it. I'm sure you can hear it. The trees are real close to us right here are in very good detail, but as we move through the photo down the path there, the trees become engulfed in the fog, and the fog turns the trees from detailed images into these just silhouettes that are standing there in the forest. As I'm standing here looking at this, I'm thinking it might be a black and white image. There are a few issues here. I have a trail marker here that I'm going to have to remove, but overall I feel really, really good about this image. So if this image is any good, here it is. When you're taking pictures in the forest, you can't just take pictures of the forest and just have a bleak image. You have to have something that anchors the photo. And I like to find an unusual tree, a rock, something that is unique and that will first draw the viewer's eye, and then as the viewer stands in front of the image, they're drawn more into the image, absorbed by the image. And this is the thing about photography, is that you just don't want to have a silhouette of something, or you just don't want to have an image or something, you just don't want to have a snapshot of something. You want the viewer to be drawn into the image, absorbed by the image. And this sounds really artsy-fartsy, but that's what I'm trying to look for. And so as I'm walking through the forest here, I'm looking for trees that look completely different in this fog here. They're not what, a tree that's normally standing there that's a dead tree may just be a dead tree, or a trunk laying on the ground may be a trunk laying on the ground. But in this kind of light, that can be an unusual subject, something to draw the viewer into the image. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just walking through the forest looking for something interesting to photograph. This is the kind of photography that I do for me. This is my fun photography. I am taking photos of this beech tree right here. And beech trees retain their leaves after they draw the chlorophyll out of the leaves. So the leaves are all dead, and they will shed in the springtime when new leaves come out. But right now they're this stark yellow color right now that's kind of like just a huge contrast against the wet forest behind it. Now, I don't have as much fog where I am right now. it seems like the fog is much, so I'm in a little bit of a valley right here, and up on the ridge here there's a lot more fog that I can see. So the image is kind of that kind of stark. I don't have a lot of fog. The fog is definitely softening the light, but I don't have a lot of fog in the image here. But I wanted that stark contrast between the yellow leaves and the forest behind it. Now my settings are, I'm shooting at ISO 100. I am shooting at f13 because I do want to deep field of focus here. And even though I'm fairly close to this subject here, I think the whole thing will be in focus here. I am shooting, I did retard my light meter about 3/4 of a stop, and that did give me a shutter speed of about a half a second. Now I don't want to go much more than that, even though I don't feel any breeze or anything like that. In this kind of situation, if you were shooting these leaves, and even though they don't seem to be moving, if you shot it at 2-3 seconds, in the image itself, there might be some distortion or some movement in the image. So that's why I wanted to have a faster shutter speed. So if these images are any good, here they are. There are many frustrating things about being a wildlife photographer, and one of the things is chasing the fog. It seems like the fog is very thick over there, and I have a feeling when I get over there it's not going to be as thick as it looks from here, but this is why we do it, right? When I saw that fog this morning, this is the image I was thinking about. Now the fog has become much more atmospherical. It's not in the forest here. It didn't really last that long in the forest. I was kind of disappointed about that, but it's still giving us incredibly soft light, which is what I want. Now this bridge here is a bridge that was built obviously, but it's been weathered. There's no stain on it, so you got this green mold growing on it. It is a very dark subject in there, and you got the dark forest, but also you have these beech leaves here that are kind of compensating for the darkness of that, and then you got the forest behind it. I do have a few issues. This light up here in the forest here is going to be an issue, and I'm really not sure how I'm going to process this image. Is it going to be black and white? Am I going to mute the colors? What am I going to do here? I'm not really sure. I have a couple of ideas in my mind that I'm going to try, but I might actually do a video on how I process this image here, because I really got a few ideas in my head. But if this image is any good, here it is. Well, I think that's going to end it for today's video. I really had a good time out here. I've pretty much lost all my light. I'm not thrilled with what I have left here, but I'm so glad I came out here and did this. So if you have any comments of how I should have processed these images, please leave those messages below. I respond to every one of them. So I want to thank you for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel because that really helps us in the YouTube world. Become a Patreon supporter. Your support allows us to keep doing this. My name is Leahy, and I want to thank you for watching.